Happy October, everyone. This is my favorite time of the year, fall. I'm looking forward to all the great stuff Halloween, homecoming, holidays, all of that great stuff, and closing out the year strong. Today, I have with me Johnte Archer. She is a CEO and also of the Johnte Archer Insurance Agency.
Yes.
So she's here today to share why she's a fearless female. I don't know her personally, but I follow her on social media. I know her through mutual friends. So I'm glad that she was able to come today despite her head cold.
Yeah.
To come and share with us some pearls, some nuggets, and also some challenges in being a CEO. So let's start here. Where are you from, Johnte?
Well, first, thank you for having me. Despite the head cold, I'm so happy to be here. And like you said, to share, anything that I can to help other entrepreneurs. I'm from Houston, and I claim all of the South Sides because I was born in Sunnyside, went to middle school in Third Ward, and then high school in South Park. So
Okay, so
I
yes.
claim it all. And then
Yes.
college in Third Ward at U of H.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I'm a cougar. I'm talking about a panther. My
Yeah.
best friend is a panther. I'm a cougar.
Go
Yes.
Cougs.
Yes.
Go Cougs.
Yes. I went there, majoring in communications. What did you major in?
Okay, so funny story. I started off in engineering, then I went into theater, then political science, and then hotel and restaurant management and finance. So
Oh, you did a little bit of it all.
I thought I could do it all, but I was led, and ultimately hotel and restaurant management and finance.
Well, they have a great hotel and restaurant management program at the University of Houston. They're known for that, the Hilton.
Yep.
Did you ever work in hotel and restaurant management?
A summer. And
A summer.
that was it for me. I went to law school after college, so yeah, I left those days behind. Who knows? I'll pick it back up one day.
You never know.
Never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
What made you decide to open up insurance agency?
Well, I started off representing kids in foster care, doing child advocacy work. And, when you have a law degree, folks just always feel like you can help them some way legally. So I had friends that would come to me and say, hey, could you read this contract? And a friend of mine came to me, he wanted me to read a contract. He was about to go invest in a farmer's agency. And he was trying to tell the difference between going independent or with a captive. And so I just read the contracts to help him out. And it just was such a great business model that I stayed in it. Yeah. I started my business, and then 2 years later, he started his.
Wow. Reading someone else's contract.
Yeah.
Just open up your mind. You're like, wait a minute, I can do this. So you've always been independent?
I've always been independent. We also had a farmer's agency. I started off with a friend, and she had the farmer's agency, and I had the independent side, and we referred business back and forth and took ownership together. And then we parted ways a couple of years later.
Okay. And how long have you been in business?
10 years.
So what have been some of the biggest struggles being I'm not going to even put it in a box of insurance, just being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. The first few years is just taking care of yourself, just being able to eat without. The whole reason for She is a CEO and why we talk to girls about entrepreneurship is because being independent is so important. And, when you're not independent and able to take care of yourself, you make bad decisions, because you have to depend on other people to help you out. And so for me, the struggle initially was just getting to the point where I could take care of myself. And then along the way, it's about scaling, learning how to be bigger and to grow and to connect with other people that can get you to the next level. So, it's always struggle. I don't think entrepreneurship
gets easier.
It's
a new adversity.
No, it doesn't get easier.
But I want to really be clear with the audience. What does taking care of yourself look like? Because it can be different for different people. But when you say take care of yourself, what does that look like?
Yeah, for me, initially, it's just being able to pay my own rent, pay my own car note. Now I still would have to call some folks a couple times for some meals from here to, some dates to get me fed from here to there. But initially, it was just the basics.
Staying afloat.
To staying afloat. And then after that, it was like, wait, I'm comfortable. Now I can buy myself some nice things. But wait, now I can invest. And now I can, now I don't even want the same things I used to want because, you see the money sitting there and now you want to do more with it. So there are definitely levels.
There are.
Yeah.
And when it sits there, it looks so good.
It does.
It does.
It does. My
So wait
husband.
a minute.
My husband is always making fun of me. He said the only reason why you have money in an investment account so you can watch it. He said you watch it all the time like it's going, magically do something. But
It's
yeah.
funny because you're right. There's levels to it. For instance, if you had like $50,000, like really in your bank account, and when you were 20, you'll be ready like to ball out of control.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have had a dollar left.
But in your 30s, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so hard to get it back.
Yeah. Right. You work hard for that money.
You do, but it's all about perspective, though.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. Share with us. She is the CEO. That's what it's about. How did you start that?
So I always knew that I wanted to have a foundation for girls because I wanted to help girls that were similar to me. I had a rough background coming up. My mom was a drug addict. My father was murdered. I just saw a lot of poverty and drugs growing up. And despite that, I still did well in school. And the reason for that is that was my escape, right? That's where I went to get away from it all. So I loved school. But there were so many times when I fell into those bad circumstances and bad crowds. And I just could have went either way, just because that's where I come from. I'm from the hood, And so I wanted to do something for girls that were similar to me, that really had what it took to be successful, but maybe the hope wasn't there. Maybe they didn't see anyone that looked like them that was successful. Maybe they didn't see anyone who had been through something. Because it's easy to, walk around in your handbags and your hair done, and those girls can't relate. They don't think you've been through anything. But when you can share your story and let them know that, hey, I was just like you, and you can make it. And so that's what was the core of why I started the foundation. So that's been my heart.
Isn't it so much fun?
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's a different type of reward. It is. Because even though you face adversity growing up, but now you're used to a certain way of life and lifestyle. And when you interact with those audiences or those children or those youth or those girls, it kind of humbles you.
Yeah, it does.
It humbles you. Especially like for me, like I have these two spoiled children. And like when you have children who are just excited about one gift or just excited that you're consistent and you came back to see them a second and a third time, like you really invested in them, it blows their mind.
Yeah.
Well, we take those kind of things for granted, because, you're going to see such and such over and over again. But these people don't know if you're going to come back the next week or not. Because so many people start with them and don't stay consistent.
And when we go into the classrooms with them, we let them know, we're not going to follow you for the rest of your life, but we're always here, right? It's really to introduce them to entrepreneurship, something that if they can do a business plan, pitch their business. I mean, the businesses that these girls pitch in the 6th to 8th grade, the businesses that these girls pitch are literally things that you and I can go out and do and make money on. And these girls do. Some of them have like skincare lines, hair products. Some of them have started nonprofits that are real today. And so when you see what they're able to do in 6th to 8th grade, it's like, you can't tell me you can't do this at 30. Mm-hmm. You can't say, I can't start my own business. So we let them know this is an introduction into what your future could be like. So if you can do it now, you can do it later. So that's the premise.
How long is the program? Is it a one visit? Is it a series of visits?
Yeah, so it's a series of visits over 6 weeks.
Okay.
We do a 6-week program, and then it culminates with a conference and a pitch competition. We've been in single schools at a time, sort of adopting different schools. But where we're bringing the program is to a place where we can do 6-week programs at different schools, but then where it culminates with the conference, we can invite
everybody.
Yeah. Because we get it so many times where we say, well, can you come to my school, or can my daughter participate? And it's just hard to say, well, no, because we're focused on these schools. And so we've been getting more funding, raising awareness, and so hopefully, we can serve as many girls as want to be in the program.
So how many schools did you do last year?
So last year we did 2 schools.
Okay.
And this year we're getting into HISD. We were in Fort Bend.
Okay.
And so this year we'll be in HISD, and we're working with the superintendent to figure out which schools would be the best for us to go into. And usually how we gauge what schools need us most is we just ask, hey, what populations are having the most problems, whether it's teen pregnancy, fighting, it could be anything. And they'll let us know, hey, we really have a population at this school. They could really use, women role models to come in and really pay attention to them and show them something different. And so that's how we pick the schools we go into.
So once you go into the school, how many mentors do you take with you? Or how many CEOs do you take with you?
A lot.
Oh, good.
So we teach them courses, everything from marketing to finance, brainstorming, character education, because we mirror the two. So we teach them that they are the first brand that they'll ever sell. So character education and being a CEO through heart and mind and humanity goes hand in hand with being a CEO that runs a business that builds money, right? And so we bring in everybody, like I call all my friends, anybody who wants to show up, because most of my friends are entrepreneurs. So anyone who teaches those courses. So I'd say anywhere from 20 to 30.
Oh, that's great.
Per round, yeah.
Because they get a good perspective.
Yeah.
They get a good mix of people. That's why I asked how many. And when you go to each school, what's your goal? How many young women do you want to touch?
Our goal is just to make an impact on one.
Okay, good.
At the end of the day, if they walk away, I remember when I was in high school, and I remember a young lady coming to our school to talk about Mount Holyoke. She was an AKA, and I applied to Mount Holyoke because it was something in her that I saw. And I pledged AKA. She ended up coming to our school to be teacher for Teach America and doing some other stuff at our school. So I got to see her, of course, more than just that one time. But it was that single impression that I was like, wow, I want to be like her. She was very kind. She was very open. And I felt connected, right? So I know what those impacts can do to girls. Those single touches, those connections can do.
Long lasting.
Very much.
So you have a big event coming up.
We do.
November 1st?
November 1st, we have our second annual gala.
Okay.
It's called the Girl Champions Awards Gala. And it's really awesome because I think it's different than most galas that I go to. It's not stuffy. It's fun. It's young and old, but it's a good mix of a fun crowd. And just folks from all different genres. I mean, I just really love, how we have a good time, and I don't know how to explain that any better.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
How we do
how
it.
we have a good time. Yeah. It just doesn't feel
the vibe
like,
is different.
Exactly. It just hit different, right?
It hits differently.
So we give out awards to what we call girl champions. And this year, Dr. Amira, she's a celebrity dentist out of Miami. She's going to be our keynote speaker. And we really try to seek out women. Last year was Tashonda Duckett, who is the CEO of Chase Consumer Banking, good friend of mine. But we like to bring out CEO women that we really feel like are making an impact and a difference in girls' lives in particular, being not only that role model, but really making a difference in little girls' lives to say, hey, I want to make sure that women and girls have opportunities the way anyone else does. So whether it's funding or mentorship, whatever it is, those are the people that we want to acknowledge that night.
You said young girls, which is key. What made you select ages 6 through 8?
Like I said, everything about this organization is from my personal experience, and that's why I'm so connected to it. 6th to 8th grade, I was really, really going through a difficult time in my family, abuse and just extreme poverty. And so I was really, really smart. My mom had moved us to Cleveland, so I really didn't have family or anyone around. And I really got into some bad stuff. And like I said, it was nothing but grace that brought me back. But one particular story that I tell all the time is I was in 7th grade, a math class, and I don't know what I was doing. I was probably bullying in the class, whatever I was doing. And the teacher, he recognized that, but he was one of those pushover teachers that, everybody acts rowdy in their class or whatever the case is. So Class is over. We're running out, and he just grabs me by the back of my shirt and pulls me back into the class. And, at that time, I'm ready to fight. I'm, what? Don't touch me. Who you think you are? And so he says, Johnte, you're not like them. You're not like them. You're different. And you're going to be something. And don't give up on you. And it was maybe a 2-minute little lecture. And I just kind of shrugged it off and went out of class. But it just stuck with me that this man, everybody who was being atrocious, we were horrible to this man. Horrible. Out of everybody in that class, he stopped me.
He took time out for you.
And so, God will use people to be vessels in your life, to whisper in your ear. And that was a time, like I said, 6th to 8th grade, I could have went so left. And somehow... And then I think that's where you form your little personality, who you're going to be, what your core values are. And you can make a lot of mistakes and still come back from them in 6th to 8th grade, I think. In high school, when you're...
And you're still impressionable.
Yeah. And that's another thing, too, because I've talked to high school girls, and I love speaking with them. But I think sometimes, with the middle school girls, they still are vulnerable to impression, like you said. And they listen. Now, you may not be able to, get to them immediately, but it's a lot different speaking to high school girls, where they may already be in love and they've got their boyfriend they think they're going to marry. And, it's a little different for us to persuade them in different ways. But these little 6th to 8th grade girls, they impress me every single time with just who they are and who they become by the end of the program. Because you see a totally different person sometimes.
True. How does a person purchase tickets for your event?
Oh, that's easy. They can go to sheisaceo.org.
Okay.
And you'll see a link on there for events. And then you buy your tickets there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about your business.
Yes. J. Archer Insurance Group.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you manage the foundation, your business, your family, your son, your husband, and friends?
I have no idea.
Because, and I'm sure you hear this often, some people struggle with the work, the family, and the friends. Some people just do the work in the family, and some people do the work in friends and don't have a family.
Right.
But to do it all, and do it all well.
Yeah.
So
who says I'm doing it well? I don't know. Okay. This is what
the reason
I've
why I say well, because
Right.
it's a good mix.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I know I'm viewing it through the eyes of social media, but I feel like I know you're working.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I see you doing things in the community. And then I see you with your husband, and then I see you with your friends. So it's a good mix. And
Yes.
you're not with your friends just once a year.
Yes. Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
So even though I don't know how well it is, it just seems like a good gumbo.
I think when I heard you say well, what I have been practicing lately is just being human. I've been trying to be super mom, super mentor, super entrepreneur, super Christian, and I'm doing none of those really well, right? But what I have learned is that it is okay to let some shit just hit the ground sometimes, right? Because for me, that wasn't okay. That kept me up at night. That gave me panic attacks, backaches. I just didn't handle not having it all well, right? I didn't understand that. And so now when things are imbalanced, and what Tashonda, and I brought up before, what she teaches and talks about a lot is really have a balanced portfolio, right? And sometimes you have to recalibrate. Sometimes you have to short the stock. If your parents aren't doing well and you're sick, you can give 90% of your time to that. And you maybe have to split 10 between your business, your family, whatever, and that's okay, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes your business is going through a growth spurt and you got to give 50 to that. Maybe I can only give 10 to my husband, but it's okay, right? So you got to recalibrate at different times and make sure that, hey, okay, I'm out of balance now. Let me go focus again. But it's okay to be out of balance and not do everything well all the time. That's what I'm learning.
And that's something great to share, because people get overwhelmed trying to do it all.
Right.
Well.
Right. Right.
Because we say do things with excellence. It's like, you got to do the things perfect and with perfection and with all you got. And sometimes you don't have it much.
Right.
To give.
Right.
Sometimes you really don't have that much to give. So that is definitely a thing that I'm learning. I do like a good mix, but yeah, sometimes things just shift. You may be all over here in one moment, all into work, and then 1 minute you're all into family. Earlier this year, in January, I talked. I met with my business coach and I talked about things that were going to be important to me this year. And I was like, I really want to strengthen my faith walk. I want to strengthen my family ties. I feel like I was putting my family on the back burner, trying to work and build different things. And I just wanted to strengthen my finances. And it was so funny because an accident caused me I had an accident. I dislocated my wrist.
Oh, wow.
It caused me to really focus on family. It had me stuck at home for 3 months.
Wow.
Which was a great thing. And we created this intimacy and this bond. That couldn't happen with me being in transit, running out the door, trying to go to work, coming home late at night.
Yeah.
So that was a prime example of recalibrating.
Yeah.
I mean, so polar opposite of rarely being at home. Because I would leave like 7 in the morning, get home at like 9, 10 at night. So I mean, like really doing like appearances.
That's at 180, yeah.
Yeah, doing appearances, and all of a sudden, like, you're at home all day. So when your son comes home from school, like, you're greeting him.
Right.
And he's never had this in his life. And he's in 4th grade at the time.
Wow.
He's like, wow, yes, I love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
And so when I go back to work, he's like, I feel like I don't see you anymore. I'm like, because you got spoiled. Don't
Yeah.
You got spoiled, yes.
To that.
This is not reality. This is not reality. But no, life does cause you to just shift things.
Yeah.
And it's okay when you have that shift.
Yeah.
And so now we are recalibrating.
Yeah, right. Back to something else.
Back to
something new.
Back to some new things. So let's talk about 2020.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to in 2020?
I'm looking forward to a lot of my projects coming to a close. This 2019 was about a lot of new starts. This is our 10-year anniversary for my business. And the growth that we've had has caused us to scale up in terms of the systems that we use. We're moving into a new office. We're updating our marketing and website. So there's been so many big projects that we're taking on. And so I'm just looking at putting a pin in them and,
checking that box.
Oh, yes.
Like done.
Yes, because the to-do list is amazing. It's like 5,000 things. And so just to check a few off would be amazing. That's what I'm looking forward to, honestly.
Are you anal with your to-do list?
I am erratic with my to-do list. I got 5 million of them all over the place. I'm the worst at to-do lists.
And 5 different journals or 5 different notepads?
Oh, no, I got like 16. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. And so that's why it's hard for me to have an assistant, because all my thoughts, they just everywhere. So trying to train somebody of my thinking, oh, my God, it's the worst.
But you know what? When you do get that assistant, because I feel the same way.
I'm waiting on her.
Whenever that person comes, because my assistant, I wasn't even looking for. Let me say that. So that's why I know it was a God thing. I'm serious.
Find me.
Because I felt like, I had Icon, I had the Fearless Female, 360, did my own personal things. And literally she came and was like, started bossing me.
That's what I need.
But I respected her enough. Like, she built up the respect and the rapport. But she like, no, you need to do this. Send me your schedule. Like, I'm really reporting to her now. But when I tell you, when it's that one, and you're going to relinquish. You're going to be like, here you go. Tell me what to do.
But that's what Steve Jobs said. He said, I don't hire people to tell them what to do. I hire people to tell me what to do.
She definitely tells me what to do.
That's what it's about.
It was a guy saying, and it was haphazard.
Yeah.
That's why I know it was like,
destined. Yeah.
But she gets me together. She's like, she texts me in the morning at 6. It's such and such birthday today.
Oh, yes. I need her. She got friends. She got
I'm
a
so
sister.
serious.
She got a sister.
She is so on it. Like,
that's
really.
Awesome.
She ought to train other admins, because she just knows what to do.
Yeah.
And a good admin knows how you like your coffee and all that. All that little bitty stuff.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
I tell, when I've had about 3 in the last couple of years. And, I'm not a consistent person. And that's one of my problems. Some days I like tea. Some days I like a latte. Sometimes I want a cold coffee. And I'm not even a coffee drinker. So it's all decaf, So I got them all confused. They're like, look, woman, we're gonna have to ask you what you want daily, because I can't predict.
We don't even know what the temperament is today.
Right. You gotta see what she wearing. Oh, okay, she wants something cold, or I don't know.
How she feeling?
Right.
What season is she in? When is your birthday?
November 30th.
Okay, so what sign is that? Sagittarius. Okay,
yeah.
I was just trying to see if you were a Gemini. That's why.
No.
That's why I asked. I'm like,
No.
oh, you all over the place.
No.
Okay.
I think my season. I just got a coach, which I was glad you brought that up because that's so important. If you can afford to have a coach as an entrepreneur or an assistant, someone that really keeps you organized and keeps your thoughts together. But I got a coach recently, and the first thing we found out about me is that I'm an overthinker, right? And that's part of why there are the multi notes. There are the I'll go back and forth with someone after I've already got a yes. And then I'll say, well, you know what, let me try. It's always a additional something. I don't know where that came from. And it's just started probably over the last couple of years where I've started to have that not trust my gut feeling. And so that was really important that she pointed that out because now I could say, okay, recalibrate. I need to. That confidence has to come back from somewhere, right? And so it really has been a mental thing for me to say, okay, Johnte, trust your gut. Don't go ask someone about this. Do it and stick by it and feel good about it. If it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. But that fear of failure is so real, especially when you put yourself out there as a winner, right? And folks...
That's what I'm about to
say. And folks...
The expectation.
Exactly. I think that's what it is.
Because when we are starting out and we're new and people are unaware of our success or our struggles or failures, it's like we are relentless.
Yes.
We're fearless. Yes. We're renegades, right?
Absolutely.
But now that you have this winning streak and people see the success stories, but they don't see the failures in the background. Right. And it's like, oh, my God, I cannot lose. Yep. So now we start second guessing ourselves.
So
where the gut instinct and the personal the intuition is what got us to where we are now.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's the pressure. It's like coming out with that #1 album.
Right. No. That's why most of them can't come out with another one.
Yes.
Because now they're second guessing everything.
To not be that one hit wonder. You want to continue to be like Whitney Houston with the continuous, number ones. And so it's a different type of pressure. Because when you go out and you release I haven't had an album before.
Right.
If I'm number 99, I got an album.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm happy.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
Like I said, at first it was just, I'm paying my bills. I'm happy. And then it was like, wait, now I got people depending on me. Now I have employees that I can't fail. And even if I don't get paid, they have to get paid. That payroll is a beast. So, it's a whole different level of pressure. And so, like I said, just getting back to the point where not that there's no fear of failure. There's always going to be that fear. Right. But I gotta do it anyway, right? I got to do it scared is what I've learned. Yeah.
What one word would you use to sum up 2019 thus far?
Testimony. It's definitely going to make its way into my memoirs when that time comes. This year I struggled, and I've been very open about this, but I've struggled to expand my family. I have a son. He's 4, and me and my husband have been going through IVF for the last 2 years. On and off, but it's expensive. It's very emotional. I'm pumping myself with hormones, on a daily basis. And then there's so many phases of letdown, right? First, there's egg quality. Did it make it to blast? Did it go through PGS testing? Is it normal or abnormal? And all of those phases is a different level of disappointment, right? So we're still struggling with that. So, but this year, my mom has been struggling. And so I think personally, 2020 has been testimony. Professionally, couldn't be better. We've had a great year, but again, still trying to figure out how not to let the streak end. And that's where the fear is. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And we couldn't even tell she had a cold once she got going.
I know.
It's like it dried up.
It did. Hey, watch I get out here. It's just like something crazy.
Well, happy October, everyone. And until next time, I'm Nikita Ross and Johnte Archer. Please join us at She Is a CEO event on November 1st.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.